Hi Emma, thanks for joining
Hi.
me today. Could you just give me a little bit more about you and your story and how you ended up being an apprenticeship tutor?
Sure. So, ever since I left school at 16, it was always children that I wanted to work with. I always had a passion for being around little people. Even when I was at school, I used to like going to help the little readers in reception when I was in year 6. And my mum was a teacher, so it naturally seemed like something that really fitted me quite well. I left school and I went to college and I did my level 2 and I did my level 3. I worked in a nursery and I just absolutely adored it and knew that I was kind of in the right sector for me. I then went on to work in schools for quite a bit of time. I really liked that kind of educational side of things, but I then went back to the early years, which was really my passion. And I managed a setting for 6 years, which was amazing experience. And that was when I actually did my apprenticeship with Best Practice Network for my EYITT. So that's kind of a little bit more about me. I then lockdown, I had quite a few apprenticeships that I was supporting within my setting, that I was working within, and I was supporting them, and it was something that I really enjoyed. And I wasn't really sure where to go next with what I was doing because I kind of felt like I'd done being a nursery practitioner, I'd done being in the schools, I'd done being with the management, and so I kind of wanted to go somewhere where I had all this knowledge and kind of hopefully embark it on someone else and support someone else. And that's how I ended up in apprenticeships.
Amazing. So would you say the apprenticeship helped you get to where you are today?
Absolutely. The EYITT that I completed was honestly gave me so much more in-depth knowledge of supporting of learning and development of children, and how to support that from kind of a management perspective as well. And helped me support my team, and it kind of fed down then into the nursery, which gave such amazing outcomes for the children. I think apprenticeships are really valuable because obviously I did a lot of my learning back in the day when I was in college, and I would go out for little bursts of experience with different age groups, where with the apprenticeship you get that live experience as you're learning, and you can link them together a lot better, and you're developing your practice while you're kind of getting that wonderful new knowledge at the same time, and I think that does make for a stronger practitioner.
Why would you recommend apprenticeships?
I
Is it EY that you only teach, or do you do TA as well? Do you do both, or is it just
So
EY?
I'm very lucky. I deliver on a selection of programs. So I do level 2s, level 3s, level 5s, and the TA level 3s. I really enjoy all of them. I wouldn't say there's one that I prefer more than the other. I actually enjoy all of the different levels. And I just think they're so beneficial when you're looking at somebody, embarking on their journey within early years, particularly maybe at a level 3 or a level 2, and they're fresh into a new kind of environment of working, maybe a new career path. It's fantastic that they're in that practice, getting that knowledge, because it's a very, people take it for granted very much so within our sector that we care for children. We don't just care for children, we're there to develop them as a little human being and make sure that they're meeting their full potential and that they're going to thrive when they go on to the next kind of phase in their lives. And we have a huge responsibility to those children, from safeguarding, health and safety. It's all those other things that are going on, all the legislation and the law that kind of fits into an apprenticeship, which they learn about on programme, as to underpin what they're doing within their practice, why they're doing it. That really helps the apprentice to understand their role is not just that everyday, yes, we're doing things this way. It's really understanding why we do the things we do and how we do them. And I think that that has a really big impact on when you're getting somebody into that environment. And likewise for the TAs and for the level 5s, a lot of them have got a wider range of experience, and they're leveling up, and it's taking it to the next level. It's giving them that support and giving them that new knowledge and the new skills to upskill themselves, and to just make sure that that's feeding directly into that practice, so that it has that huge impact on the children that they're working with, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, totally
That's why
agree.
we're all
So
here.
yeah, yeah. What do you think apprentices enjoy the most about the programs? What do you think they get out of it?
I ask my apprentices this question every
Oh
6 weeks, roughly. Yeah, I do ask them quite regularly because I want to know what they find beneficial. Lots of them really like the webinars because it's a place for them to communicate with other settings and other people and talk about different experiences and learn from each other. So the webinars are once a month for the apprentice, for all apprenticeships actually. So they can attend a webinar once a month. We try to make it flexible so that there are times which are convenience for the settings, and they love that time where they have that communication and can actually meet other people in the sector and get ideas from each other. It's amazing what you learn on those. So I would say that that's one part that they really enjoy. Sometimes they don't enjoy the submissions, but they love that kind of feeling of once they've completed it and that's another unit done and they're that closer to achieving their qualification. Another thing that they really like that I find with my apprentices, that they go, oh my gosh, I now understand it because now I'm doing this in practice. It makes complete sense. Where before I didn't understand why I was observing children. What's the point of that? But it's evidencing their development. It's evidencing what that child is learning, and it's also there as a tool to support if there's a gap in a child's learning, that you're evidencing that to be able to get that support for that child. So they like that link into practice. And a lot of them, they like, obviously, to be working as well, because many people have got busy lives and they need to be working and earning, but also have the opportunity to have an education and upskill themselves. So a lot of them really like those kind of benefits from it. And we're really contactable here. Like as a tutor, I have my emails, they can contact me on the bud system. We have a phone that they can contact us on as well. So we develop good relationships with our learners, and I think that really has a huge impact on them.
Do you think generally with early years and TA, an apprenticeship really is kind of the best way to learn the information, because it is all practical?
I think so. I think it really is something that, I mean, I did the college route and I really enjoyed going to college and I loved everything about it. But had I perhaps had the opportunity to do an apprenticeship, I probably would have. Doing apprenticeship teaches you so many skills. I'm definitely much more organised since I've done my EYITT, because I had my work and then I had my apprenticeship and I had to make sure that they were both flowing together. So it definitely taught me lots of organisational skills that I didn't have maybe necessarily previously, but it just gives the benefit of having that real live learning, that real practical, that hands-on approach, which you can't get unless you're with those children. So I think it just has a wonderful approach to learning, and it gives you the best of both worlds.
Fab. What advice would you give someone thinking about an apprenticeship?
I would make sure that they're really comfortable in their setting and that they understand the requirements of an apprenticeship. So I would just be talking to them particularly about how they're going to be upskilling themselves through their off-the-job hours. And I think it's really a partnership between obviously the apprenticeship company like ourselves, us as a tutor, the manager and the learner. It's almost a bit like a triangle around that learner. So I think as long as everybody's on board and everybody's going to be supporting that learner, it's a win-win really. I think the most important thing is to be organised with your time, setting some time aside so that you've got that time to be able to complete any tasks that have been set for you, being really clear and open with communication about when your webinars are so that they can attend those. So it's all really about having that really good communication, being organised, and anybody can achieve this, because it's a wonderful thing to achieve, and it really can make such a difference.
Yeah, what I like about our apprenticeships are they start level 2, so it's really entry level. We're just trying to make it as accessible and as inclusive to everyone. I think that's really
Yeah.
good.
And I think what's really nice is there's that progression. So as you just said, we've got that real entry level as a level 2, but then we've got that top tier, which is that early years initial teacher training. And they can really go through with the same company, that same consistency, sometimes even the same people because we deliver across different subjects. And they've got that continuity, which is so important. And I think when I was younger, I didn't really know what I was doing next. I knew I did my level 2 and then I knew I wanted to do something else, but I didn't really have that clear guidance of where I was going next. I had to figure it out for myself. Where I mean, I know all of us as tutors, we talk to our learners about what next? What would you like to do next? What is your goal? What is your aspiration? And yeah, try and help them reach it.
Amazing. And what tip would you give someone who's on an apprenticeship? I think you might have said this with the organisation, or is there any tips that you would give somebody
Any tips?
who's doing
Keep
it?
going. If you're already on, the end is near. So just keep going. If you need help, get in contact with us. We love seeing our students achieve. It's something really important to us. And yeah, we're here for you. So yeah, if you need anything, give us a shout. But yeah, it won't be long and they'll have their qualification if they're already on it.
Thank you. And then last one. So the theme for National Apprenticeship Week is skills for life. Is there one skill that you've learnt from your apprenticeship? Could be anything silly or dancing or just anything that you think for the rest of your life you've learnt something from that apprenticeship. What would it be?
I literally think it's my organisation skills. I feel like I used to be winging at life probably before having to kind of like really focus actually. I'm a mum. I'm a mum of 2 children. I was working full time and doing an apprenticeship. So, you know, it was a challenge, but it was definitely an achievable challenge. And if you can get the right support around you, my day, you know, for doing my work used to be a Saturday. I'd get my mum to have my children, and then I'd be knuckling down getting my work done, and I'd set time aside in my work for whatever I needed to do, like practical wise. So I think it's those organisational skills that perhaps were a bit weak for me before. And then when I realised actually, leaving everything to the last minute doesn't always work. You've got to prioritise. I think that is a skill that I've taken with me. I like to think that I am terribly organised now, probably annoyingly so.
I think I need some of those skills.
Yeah, I've been making a template for an email that's got to go out this week, and I've been annoying everybody else. Can you add your information to my template, please? Because like you're just too organised. Stop. So yeah, so I think it's definitely those organisational skills that I definitely lacked.
Amazing. Well, that was amazing. Thank you so much.